Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, the 6th of June, 2025. I'm Graham Hughes. You're watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. Welcome to the chat. We've got Doc 4x4 already throwing in a £5 super chat. That's very kind of you, Doc by 4. It's bad luck not to put 50p in the idiot. When we live like this, how can you be afraid of bad luck? Well, yes, exactly. So if you want to put 50p in the idiot, you're very welcome to do so. Super chats are open and they keep this channel alive. Well, me. They keep me alive, which keeps this channel alive because obviously without me, there wouldn't be a channel. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Big shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got Paul Ewan in there. We've got Veg Pie. We've got Scott. We've got Elle. We have got Anne Phillips. We have got Liz Allen. We have got Billy Kershaw. We've got Ryan Brown. We've got Alistair Kerm. We've got Diz. We've got Audrey. We've got Colin. Hey, I've got SG. Hello, everyone. If you'd like to join our beautiful friends in the beautiful chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and wait for 1 minute, and then you'll be able to add things to the chat. You'll be able to change the reality in which you live, alter it in certain ways by adding things. And you might send this whole show on a completely different trajectory to what I was originally planning. It happens. Not very often. It happens often. What can I say? But don't be a troll or we will mute you and boot you. Okay, so we're going to be talking about RefUK today. Obviously, everyone wants to talk about what happened with Trump and Musk last night. However, we did do a show about it last night, and we are going to rip shit out of them at the Politics Social, Friday Night Social tonight at 9:30. So please join us for that. For this episode, we're just going to be focusing on the trials and tribulations of the RefUKers. God, if I had my way, right, big trebuchet, put them all in the big trebuchet, launch them into the sun. So, what's happened? Zia Yusuf, crypto banker, dodgy donor, privately educated, unelected fixer of the RefUK party, has rage quit. And their version of Doge has collapsed. Sarah Potion, who also privately educated, MP, who's the newly elected MP for Runcorn and Helsby, wants to ban the burqa. She used her maiden speech in Parliament, in PMQs, to say, in the Ghana we ban the burqa, because that's what posh people think. And Farage, also privately educated, is back to falling out with everyone, including the people who are privately educated. It's funny how many privately educated people you run into in the upper echelons of the RefUK party, isn't it? Because they're the party of the people, aren't they? They're the party of the working class, right? Right? Yeah. So Zia Yusuf is worth hundreds of millions of pounds. I mean, billions. He's very, very, very rich. And, he went to Hampton School, so he obviously got a leg up in life. The leg up that, some of the rest of us might not have enjoyed. I'm just going to turn the brightness up on my camera a little bit because I think it's a bit dull in here. What do you think? Oh, hang on. What is this going on here? Oh, I see what's happened. Yesterday, it went really, really bright while I was doing the Hughes of the World. And I was like, what's going on with my camera? Like, he kept having to adjust it. But that's all right. I want to move it so you can see my lovely Lego globe in the corner. If you look very closely on the Lego globe, sorry, this is mirrored to me. It's not mirrored. You'll see there's people standing on top of that. That's my family. That's me, Cat, and the girls. Standing on top of the world. Standing on top of our Lego globe. In our little Lego form. There's a little Lego me there. Okay, so, look, RefUK. They're not a serious party. They are not a serious party. They are a soap opera with crypto ads and racism. And who would have thought that a man like Zia Yusuf with an Asian heritage would fall out with all these xenophobic dog whistlers? Whoever would have thunked it? Could you believe it? It is all a bit cray, isn't it? So look, Yusuf's flounce when he left, he said, I no longer believe to get a reform government elected is a good use of my time. Ooh, meow. Look at the handbags were out yesterday, weren't they? Today we are unpacking this glorious implosion, the politics of performative Islamophobia, and why it's just not Yusuf who needs to be, launched into the sun with the rest of them. So, like I said, Yusuf, he's privately educated. I will mention that quite a lot. If you don't believe me when I say that these motherfuckers run everything and they are a mafia and they all work together and they all scratch each other's backs, I don't care who the fuck they are. I don't care that you're looking at the list and going, oh, Mr. Beast is on there. Oh, look, Banksy's on there. Oh, look, Rick Mail's on there. Oh, look, Amano Iannucci's on there. I like him. Yeah, there's lots of people on there that we might like. But the reality is that they're all working together to stop any of us staties from getting anywhere above our station. And they might not be doing it on purpose, but they do it. It's no surprise that Amano Iannucci worked with Christopher Morris to make Brass Eye and before that Day to Day. Both of them went to private school. You know? These things, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Tech Bro, former Tory donor, Zia Yusuf, sold his concierge app for £200 million. He became the chair of Reform in 2024 and he pumped £200,000 of his own money into it. He was tasked with professionalising the party with data tools, vetting and donor outreach. And he had this outside role in the Department of Government Efficiency. Local government efficiency, because they've only got 5 MPs, based on Elon Musk's dodgy, failed US scheme, the one that ended up costing Americans shitloads of money and destroying the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans, but also killing children, killing babies in Sudan and Mozambique by taking away US aid with nothing there to replace it. You know, like, imagine your child is on a life support machine and some American comes over and says, don't worry, I will pay to keep this machine going so your child will survive. And you're like, okay, great, that's cool. Well, I'll leave them on the machine then. And then you go, can we have the money? And they go, oh, I've changed my mind. And it's too late for you to find someone else to fund the machine, and the machine is turned off. Had the American not said that, you probably would have tried to find someone else to fund the machine, but you were relying on the Americans. And they turned around and said, no, that baby's got to die. Because these people are eugenicist, racist, xenophobic fuckers. Never forget that. Doge. So Zia Yusuf's role in Doge, he worked closely with this crypto lad called Nathaniel. Nathaniel Fried. Is it pronounced Fried or Freed? I don't know. I'm going to say Fried. Nathaniel. Nathaniel, is that a working class name? Don't know. Anyway, he worked closely with this crypto lad to parachute in unaccountable auditors into councils like Kent and Staffordshire. He was a central figure in Reform's shift from pug thug populism to glossy fintech fascism. So why did he quit? Well, the new RefUK MP for Helsby and Runcorn stood up in Parliament and PMQs and asked Starmer to ban the burqa. Yusuf responds that it was a dumb thing to ask and clarifies that is not party policy and that he wasn't even told it was coming. Reform called Potion a great friend, and party spokesman said that this was not party policy. Richard Tice, though, said Richard Tice also privately educated. So you seeing a pattern? Am I drawing a picture for you? Am I joining up the dots for everyone? Richard Tice, also privately educated, said we should have a debate. And Farage, also privately educated, said politics is hard. Politics is hard. Politics is hard. Oh, it's very hard, politics. It's very difficult to ask one of your only 5 MPs, and he's one of them, so let's say Farage takes it. 4 people. Politics is hard to manage 4 people to stop one of them standing up in PMQs and asking a really stupid question. I'm going to ask a question, Nigel. Oh, okay. What's the question going to be? I'm going to tell him to ban the burqa. Okay, probably not the best question to ask. Oh, okay. Well, I won't ask that question then. Jesus Christ. So, I've just got to check something before I say this because I don't want to say it and then it turns out to be horrifically wrong and I end up with egg all over my... No, right. So, Yusuf undermined publicity, publicly undermined the party doing this, and the Islamic undercurrent was embraced, even it was tolerated, even embraced, and resentment from there was a lot of resentment from grassroots who resented the Yusuf's corporate tone and vetting process. And was this the final straw? I don't know. Rupert Lowe, also privately educated, threatened him with violence months ago. Aaron Banks, also privately educated. And Andy Wigmore, also privately educated. Oh my God, fuck me. I'm just reading off the names and just going, this is insane. How can anyone with any self-respect who didn't go to a private fucking school think these people have their best interests at heart? How are they so good at getting people to go, yep, he's a blue-collar millionaire, that guy with the Coots bank account. He's a blue-collar millionaire. He's just like us. He likes a pint down the pub, and then he gets on his private jet, just like us, and goes to Dubai to sell gold, just like we do. Yeah, just like us. Anyway, so Aaron Banks and Andy Wigmore both circling, and obviously Nathaniel Frida's also bailed. And this, this is the Farage pattern. Do you know what I mean? This guy just can't keep a crew together. He's like shit Ocean's 11. Like, he just can't keep a gang together for love nor money. UKIP, Brexit Party, Reform, all end the same way, with falling outs, purges and lawsuits. Farage needs to be the sole source of gravity. Anyone else who outshines him is rejected and ejected in this case. Phil Spicer says, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Can they not refer to the party whip? I don't know. Ooh, they like whips. Whips. There's a quote from Labour. If Nigel Farage cannot manage a handful of politicians, how on earth could he run a country? Which is a question that we're asking here in Durham, where we have the RefUKers in here. And they can't run a council. How can they run a country? They don't know what they're doing. The guy in charge of our council here owes the taxman and his creditors £1 million on his last failed business. What is it with failed businessmen going into politics? It used to be, failed actors, was it? If you weren't good looking enough for showbiz, go into politics, something like that. I don't think that's the case anymore. I honestly think it's just a group of failed businessmen who go into politics because they can't do the business side of things, which is amazing because most of them are privately educated and have a rich Uncle Monty who can give them all the money they will ever desire to plough into all the madcap schemes that they want to try and make money from. But yeah, I mean, they go into politics and they go, okay, well, I'm going to change things to make money out of my political position, which is what Nigel Farage has done. He's made over £1 million in the last 12 months, in the last 11 months since he was elected. Absolutely fucking disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. So yeah, there was a quote from Daisy Cooper. By sacking himself, Zia Yusuf seems to be leading Doge by example. And Hope Not Hate have said, if Farage's own chairman thinks it's not worth getting Reform elected, what confidence does that give voters? So, Farage's Department of Local Government Efficiency is already losing steam. Now volunteers are quitting and councils are resisting, and the legality of any of this is in question. They don't seem to understand how local councils work. It's not necessarily that you turn up and you're the council, you're in charge of everything. You have a CEO of a council, that's a full-time position, and they have to do things in the interests of the city or the county that they are representing, because the representatives, the councillors come and go, and it's a part-time position. They don't have as much power as they think they've got. And there was a quote from, in the final thread, there's a quote from him saying, "Zia got me in. I believe it's appropriate for me to leave with him." And my prediction is that Andy Wigmore and Aaron Banks will take over Doge and make everything demonstrably worse, because these are the architects of Brexit. These were the Leave.eu motherfuckers who continued to campaign even in the wake of the murder of the MP Joe Cox, because that's the caliber of these people. That's the metal of these motherfuckers. They're nice people. They are lovely people. You just want to go down to the pub with a drink with these braying millionaire fuckwits, don't you? They're nice people. They've got the nation's best interests at heart. They're not honest. They're not a bunch of scam artists who are just fleecing the country, fleecing the people of this country for every penny they can get. Meanwhile, RefUK got fucked in Hamilton in Scotland. They had a by-election for the Scottish Parliament, and in a surprise to pretty much everyone, this SNP seat was actually won by Labour. Not by much, by only 800 votes, but that's enough. But RefUK finished third, and not quite. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not quite the breakthrough that they promised. And Farage personally campaigned there. And the implications here, the Scottish voters, the majority of Scottish voters, because 2/3 didn't vote for these mad little bastards, they're not buying into the crypto-fascist cosplay bullshit. Labour are still competitive in Scotland, despite their quite public missteps. And the RefUK are not inevitable, which is a good news for all. And it was interesting listening to a few callers on the radio this week saying that they're pensioners and they spend their winter fuel allowance on ski lessons, on ease, whiz, crack cocaine, prostitutes, all kinds of stuff. They don't spend it on the winter fuel because they're already millionaires. Why would they spend it on winter fuel? So yes. So then we've got the fact that Labour, haven't showered themselves in glory by any stretch of the imagination. However, they still have the potential to claw their way back, but they really need to address these certain things. Now, with the winter fuel allowance, I think that the electorate might be more forgiving than you might imagine, because I do think that you've got these people who have enough money, who do not need the winter fuel allowance, who are saying, it was madness that I got it. I'm a millionaire. I live in Thailand. What was I doing getting this extra 500 quid, right? So I think that's fair enough. So if Labour go in the middle, because the problem, I don't think, with most of us wasn't that it was means tested. The problem was that the ceiling was too low. So the level that you had to be to get the winter fuel allowance was too low. So bump it up $5,000, bump it up $10,000, whatever, right? Fine. And make it so that it's, you apply to get it. You put an application in for the winter fuel allowance and you get it if you want it. Because a lot of people who should get it haven't applied for it. So, it's not going to cost the government a staggering amount of money, as you might expect, if it was to be given to every single pensioner. But the thing is now, people over the age of 65 own £3 trillion worth of assets in this country, mostly buildings, properties. £3 trillion worth. Our GDP in a given year is only £2 trillion. So that's quite a lot of money. That's a staggering amount of money. There's a lot of people who are living, one or two people living in a massive family house that they could sell and downgrade so that a family could actually live in that family house. And we're in a acute shortage of accommodation at the moment. How we are in a housing shortage, and I think there should be a government campaign to encourage people to downsize. If there's just two of you, what are you doing living in a 4-bedroomed house? Gina Lefty, thank you very much, Gina Lefty, for the trans flags. Thank you. That's very kind of you. And Alistair says, I'm a bit disappointed in the result, but still scary that Reform got as many votes, Graham. Yeah, thanks, Alistair. Yeah, they did do all right, but they didn't win. I mean, if they had won, I would have been sitting here going, oh, for God's sake. But yeah, yesterday was pretty disastrous for the fash all round, with America going into meltdown between Musk and Trump, sparring on their respective social media platforms. One of the funnier things about it was that Trump refuses to go on Twitter. So he was tweeting on his own private through social network, and Musk was tweeting on his own private network. So they weren't actually having a direct conversation with each other. It was like a conversation in passing. It was a bit like, tell him I said this. You know when like a kid is like not talking to someone and they turn to their other mate and they go, tell them I'm not interested. And the other mate says they say they're not interested. Do you know what I mean? It's just so childish. These people are children. They're not grown-ups. They're not responsible. They just want to smash stuff up. They don't know how to create anything. They just want to take something that works or something that could do with a bit of improvement and just make it demonstrably worse. And in doing so, feather their nests like you would not believe. These people are not like us. And this is something that we need to keep shouting from the rooftops until, I don't know, maybe some more of the gammon actually listen to us and go, oh yeah, that was the point. They don't really speak for us, do they? But until then, you know, yeah. But yes, yeah, look, so this is bad news for RefUK. Yusuf built their digital infrastructure. He oversaw recruitment and donations and also vetting, which they had problems with last year. And you know, the personality clash, it wasn't just about clash of personalities in this case, like it was with Rupert Lowe, who left earlier in the year, and he's just going, I hate Nigel Farage. I hate Nigel. Can I join the Conservatives again? You know, this was about Islamophobia. And this was a clash about whether overt racism, was acceptable within the party. And it seems that the answer is yes. No surprise there. This is a party of racists for racists. I'm not saying that everyone who votes for RefUK is a racist, but every racist votes for RefUK. Just like every racist voted for the Brexit Party. Just like every racist voted for UKIP. It's like every racist voted for fucking Brexit. I don't want to be on their side. I don't want to turn around and see, you know, who's standing with me. Oh, it's the racists. It's the bigots. It's the transphobes, the Islamophobes, the anti-Semites. I don't want them behind me. I don't want to be marching with them. I don't want to see their flags. I don't want to hear what they've got to say on a stage. I want to go to their rallies. I don't want them anywhere near me. I hate these people. They're fucking scumbags. They think that the colour of their skin or their given religion, not chosen religion. You don't choose your religion. You're given it by your parents most of the time, 99.9% of the time. It gives them some kind of like superiority about someone who was given a different religion, someone who has a different coloured skin, someone who has an accent that's different from the many, many British accents that we have. Alistair, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Going to have your recipe for the popcorn tonight. Oh, good, Alistair. That sounds good. So, what you do, first of all, popcorn kernels, put them in the popcorn maker, spins around, spits them out, go everywhere, whatever. And then you get a frying pan, clean frying pan, get a big wodge of butter, right? Unsalted butter, put that in the frying pan, and then get some Demerara sugar, and then put that in quite a lot. I mean, not too much. Like, you don't have to go mad, but like, a good helping, and then stir it all and get it nice and wet because it'll blend in with the butter, and then just keep doing that till it goes a really nice golden brown. You don't want it to go dark brown because then it's gone a bit too far. So nice high heat and just keep stirring it. Don't leave it. Don't walk away. Don't do something else. Just keep stirring it. And then get your popcorn and then pour that into your popcorn. Make sure your popcorn is in like a big container, like a big fuck off pot or something. So then you pour that in and then get a wooden spoon and then you stir it all in. Leave it for a minute or so and it will solidify, and then really chop it up with the spoon and it will all come into separate little pieces, and then get the salt In fact, after you put the caramel on the popcorn and you stir it the first time, leave the spoon in, get the salt then. When the caramel's still quite soft, stir, salt, more salt, and then, salted popcorn. Oh, delish, mate, delish. Put that in your repertoire. Fulmar Music, welcome to Lone Star. Thank you oh, hang on, that's not Super Chat, is it? Hey. Pressing the wrong buttons here. Welcome. You are awesome. Welcome to Lone Star. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Fulmar Music. If you, like Fulmar Music, would like to join the channel, all you need to do is press the join button if it's available, and you get to be a member of the channel. And you get a rose after your name when you leave a comment, just like Scott has, and Sarah Davis, and no one else has got a star there. Who else is a member? Come on, there should be some other members here. I can't even see any more members in the chat. I was going to have a third member there. Oh, David Peacock, thank you. Dark 4x4. So if you want a rose next to your name when you leave a comment, become a member, and also you get your name after the end of the show as well, as and when I update it, which is fairly often. David Faulkner, thank you very much for the £15 super chat animation. That's the right one I wanted. Zia just realized that Reform is a racist party. Thank you very much, David, for the 15 Hong Kong dollarinos. Yes, my friend, you are absolutely right. If you make popcorn in a saucepan, you can do the butter and sugar first, then add the kernels. No need for a popcorn maker. Yeah, but I always burn them. at the bottom of the pan. There is some kind of magical way that you can do popcorn in a pan, and I always used to do it in a pan, but I always burnt the motherfuckers. It was just too difficult because you kind of need to stir it while it's popping. And obviously in a popcorn maker, you know, it's got the stirring thing, so it's moving. I think you take the lid off while it's popping and you try and stir it, popcorn goes everywhere. So it's, fraught with danger. So I used to make it in a pan, and then Catherine's got a little popcorn maker, and that'll do. Dark 4x4, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I voted for Brexit, not claiming it was a good idea, but I welcome your attempts to try and label me as a racist. Well, Dark 4x4, I didn't say that everyone who voted for Brexit was a racist. I said that all racists voted for Brexit. You see, there's a difference there, but thanks for the super chat anyway. I'll insult you more if you want to give me more money. Fulmar Music, thank you very much for the buying a social gift membership for, that's gone to Crispy You 44. Thank you very much. So welcome to the channel. And also, Alice Dermer's bought 5 Politics Social gift memberships, which have gone to Pete's Music, John Mack, What Is Not My Name, Michael, and MZ of all members now. So welcome new members. And Plum Duff. Wow, lay on, Plum Duff. You have just dropped in a mega chat. Thank you so much. 50 quid. Wow. Thank you. That is worth getting up this morning for. Thank you very much, Plum Duff. You are an absolute fucking legend. Well done, Scotland. Stuff reform. Peace and love to you all. Peace and love. No more autographs. Peace and love. Awesome. Thank you so much, Plum Duff. That is really, really kind of you. So anyway, RefUK is still polling well, but then so did UKIP. So did the Brexit Party. But Farage's entities, the host bodies, that the tapeworm that is Farage infest, they always rot from the inside. It's just a matter of when. So it's always the same with these far-right grifters. It is. They promise revolution and then implode over who gets to grift the hardest. Grift 2, grift harder. Die grift 2. Then that 1 minute it's next prime minister, and next it's not a good use of my time. Yusuf quit not because he's principled, but because the party's racist base wouldn't let him LARP as the CEO of Britain, any longer. Doge is dead. The Burqa ban nonsense blew it all open. Fingers crossed. And Farage's latest flying circus is just, is screaming monkey or fucking clown car on fire going off a cliff. It's an abomination. It's a joke. It's not they're not serious people. They are not serious politicians. They are not in this to make your life any better or to make my life any better. you know? Well, at least we get to watch. We get the popcorn out. Reform is a joke, you know? It is a joke. It is an absolute fucking joke. And hopefully, you know, despite the fact that so many people keep falling for Farage's grift time and time again, hopefully the fact that they just can't hold themselves together as a party. I mean, they have 5 MPs, and then Rupert Lowe left in flounced off in a big huff. Now the party chairman's flounced off in a big huff. The chairman, the leader of their Doge faction, has fucked off. I mean, look, these people are not serious people. So the hope is that they'll just crumble from within. But you know, why people are still believing in Farage's bullshit is just painful. When someone's fucked you over that many times, when someone who's conned you out of everything, and then people say, oh, no, Brexit was a good idea. It just wasn't done properly. No, it was never a good idea. It was always an idea that was going to destroy our economy and mean that our economy would be stuck in the doldrums, not just for years, but for decades afterwards. It wasn't there to help us as normal people. It wasn't there to encourage us to expand our horizons or allow us to get jobs in other countries that we can't get in this country because we didn't go to fucking private school. Do you see the pattern? Please tell me in the chat that you see this fucking pattern. Or if you think that I'm just some gobby scouser with a chip on his shoulder, then please let me know. Because it just seems a little bit rum when I look at my list of private school mafia of 1,260 people in the public eye who all went to private school. And the fact that me as a travel presenter, my work dried up because of Brexit. Because I couldn't get fucking gigs in this country for love nor money, because if I was expected to do any work and appear on the BBC holiday show, for instance, I was only going to get £100. That was it. An appearance fee. Yeah. Whereas if I worked in Europe for travel agencies, airlines, the tourist boards of various countries, they paid all right. It was a good paying job. And yet anything in this country, oh, will you come and appear on this show? Oh, cool. How much did you pay me? Oh, we don't pay our contributors. Oh, okay. How are you supposed to survive in this world going on TV and, you know, using your expertise to talk about stuff? Well, you know, if you've already got loads of money, it's a lot easier. Oh, so what? If I'm already a millionaire, then I can spend most of my time appearing on the BBC and talking about stuff. Yeah. But if I'm not a millionaire, then it's going to be a day out of my time for £100 and that's it. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't seem like the best of deals to me. But, you know, what do I know? I'm only the person who once went to a fucking TED event in California where they didn't pay for my flight or my accommodation. And I had no money. I put the flight on my credit card and hired a car in LA, drove to Palm Springs, couldn't find anywhere that I could stay because all of the hotels were taken up because of the big TED event that was taking place there. I was one of the speakers. I got a fucking standing ovation. And it wasn't until after I'd given my talk and I was hanging out with some people that I found out that a ticket for this event, which I spoke at for free, at great cost to myself, was $4,000 per person. Look, if you're a tech bro and some knobhead's giving you $500,000 for your tech startup, that's fine. You can spend that. That's cool. Go and spend a little, 1% of your ill-gotten gains. That's fine. I don't care. But for me, that to me was absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. And it just showed how much of a closed group, a gang, a mafia that the moneyed elites are in this country and arguably in the US as well. If you've got money, you can make money. You can make a lot of money if you've got money to start with. If you've got no money, If you don't own a house, you're paying you're giving half of your time that you are alive to creating money for somebody else. You're literally giving your hard-earned money to someone else to buy their second house or third house. Just what a mad system. Why isn't everyone going crazy about this? Why isn't everyone saying this is the maddest system? You get people who haven't got anything. They give all of what little they've got to fucking private landlords, right? To private fucking landlords. They can't start a business. They can't be the next tech entrepreneur. They've got no capital. And when you ask for capital, all of the millionaires look down on you and say, well, what school did you go to? Do you wear the do you know the secret handshake? Do you know the old school tie? Mate, the game's not straight. Alistair, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Thanks for the recipe, Graham. Thank you, Alistair, for that £10 super chat. You could have used that £10 to buy more popcorn, so you didn't have to make it yourself. But there's joy in the whole making of it. Just be careful with kernels, though. What I do so I make it. I get the popcorn, right. I know a lot of people watching this aren't that interested in how I make popcorn, but Alistair is. So this is for Alistair. I put in have it coming out of the popcorn maker into a big pot, right, and then I put the caramel in and the salt, and then what I do once it's cooled down a bit because caramel is hot, I put my hand in and scoop out and put it into a glass bowl or whatever I'm going to eat out of. And the reason why I do that with my hands rather than just pouring it in is so the kernels at the bottom stay at the bottom. Because kernels are the worst. Colonel Gaddafi, Colonel Sanders, fuck off, kernels. Break your fucking teeth on them. Dog 4x4, will you give me money to insult you? Sounds like a fun arrangement. Oh yeah, absolutely, Dark 4x4. We've had a few trolls on here who have just spent money to insult me, and I'm like, fucking bring it on if you want to give me money and call me a knobhead. Great. SG says, will Aaron Banks be able to salvage RefUK for £2? Probably. The thing is with these motherfuckers, right? They're like the T-1000 in Terminator 2. You think, oh my God, they've been frozen in liquid nitrogen and I've shot them with a fucking hasta la vista, baby. And they've shattered into a million pieces. It's fine. But then it starts to melt and the pieces start to gloop together. That's the Tory party. That was the Tory party after the Brexit vote. It just started, we thought that's the end of the Tory party. Oh my God. But then it started glooping back together. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is madness. Why is this glooping back to... What is even happening right now? And then we saw it with Boris Johnson. He took over from Theresa May. And Theresa May, she had fucked the party. They got 7%. The Tory party of the United Kingdom, of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. They got 7% of the vote in the EU elections in 2019. 7% of the vote. And yet, once again, T-1000 in loads of little bits, shattered all over the floor. And it starts to melt. And the mercury starts to, the smart metal starts coming back together. And Boris Johnson gets an 80-seat majority in the December of that year. I'm just like, how is this even possible? And Farage was the guy, the Brexit man. He wanted Brexit. He desperate for us to leave the European Union. He told us that great things were going to happen if we left the European Union. A man who was categorically proved wrong about every fucking thing that came out of his clanging manhole of a mouth. And yet, he's just won a bunch of councils. T-1000 gloops back together, rises up. Incidentally, can I just say, it is objectively hilarious that the machines built a Terminator in Terminator 1 to blend in with the other humans. And that Terminator looked like and sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, Why didn't they make the Terminator look like a little old lady?
Oh, hello, love. Would you help me with me shopping, please? Oh, thank you.
Uzi 9mm. Dead.
Oh, hello, are you Sarah Connor? Or I'm just doing a door-to-door knock census to see what we should do with the flowers and the median. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, I am Sarah Connor. Oh, you must be Terminator. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, it is objectively. You never really think about it when you're watching the movie because it's a fun movie. But like, the machines aren't that clever. Why would they make a machine to blend in? Anyway, Pygmalion, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Bank sells dodgy car insurance and wants to expand into selling dodgy health insurance. Absolutely does it. I mean, these fuckers want to privatize the NHS. That's what they want to do. They want an NHS for them and no one else. Kate says, yeah, I really like his choice of name. It's a good gig. Pretty much all of our family had the most seats, lol. I don't know what you're talking about. Captain Coconut. So Graham does not being roasted for pound. I hate it that I'm at work right now. If I was home and access to cash super chats, I'd have a field day, lol. Yeah, come on. Put 50p in the idiot. Because little old ladies are far more dangerous than Arnie. Well, that's the thing. There'll still be a metal exoskeleton. Do you know what I mean? And whatever. Fucking inside. The insides will still be a metal fucking killing machine. But they'll look like a little old lady. Surely that would be the most effective. It's a bit like assassins, right? So there are no assassins in the world. No one is paid to murder people. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous idea. But if there were assassins, the people you would want to be your assassin wouldn't be people who look like Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, right? They would be people who look like me, who look like a normal, average-looking person who could just blend into... You wouldn't make them ginger, so it wouldn't be me. You'd just make them an average-looking person who would just blend in anywhere. For a spy, if you wanted a spy, you wouldn't have James Bond. You wouldn't have Pierce Brosnan as your spy. You wouldn't have Craig David. Not Craig David. Daniel Craig. But you wouldn't have Craig David either. Or Peter Andre. You just wouldn't have them. Because they would stand out a mile away. If you want to spy, a woman over the age of 50. There you go. There's your spy. A woman over the age of 50. Because they're just ignored. They're just ignored by society. So no one will notice them spying on everything. But yeah, we have to have movies and we have to have beautiful people in the movies, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But there you go. Sounds like an admission. What? Surely they modelled it on the soldiers that had survived the fighting. Come on, like what? Did the only soldiers who survived the fighting were like fucking Mr. Universe? I tear apart Terminators with my bare hands. And what's with the accent? It's set in America. Like, even Stephen Hawking had a fucking voice synthesizer with an American accent. And these robots spend all this time designing this Terminator. And apparently there were loads of them made. There were loads of this model made. Because you see that in Terminator Salvation where there's like a factory making these Arnie model Terminators. It's just so stupid. I just love the absurdity of it. Yeah. They didn't give an American accent. They gave him a really strong Austrian Teutonic accent. What? What's this? Draconic saying you're not Cable from X-Men. No, I'm not Cable from X-Men. Or I'm not Thanos either. Played by the same bloke. Both played by the older brother out of Goonies. And you know what? He'll always be, I mean, I don't care that he's Thanos. He'll always be the older brother out of the Goonies who has to cycle on the kid's bike and then the bullies grab hold of him and he goes on. Anyway, Chesterton did a story where the murderer was a waiter because he was invisible. Yeah, exactly. That's how you blend in. Ninjas. Okay, close your eyes, right? Picture a ninja. Did you picture someone dressed all in black? Like black pajamas with a bandana, black bandana, or a band around their head? Yeah, no. Ninjas didn't look like that, okay? Ninjas never look like that. Ninjas just look like peasants. because they were like, samurai assassins, essentially. And they were, knew all the martial arts, and they would just dress like a peasant back in the day. They'd just turn up in ragged clothes with a straw hat on, with, bar over the shoulders with some things dangling off each side. They'd walk into the village, and then they'd fucking kill everyone in the night while everyone was asleep. They wouldn't just turn up, like dressed in black with swords. Going, right, who wants a fight? It just didn't happen. Yeah, movies have so fucked our sense of reality of like, which is good in a way. I always felt this about the TV show Dexter. Like, they made it in such a way that if anyone tried to copy Dexter, which a couple in like South Africa or something actually did try and copy Dexter, right? You will get found straight away, because the way they go about stuff in Dexter, the way the serial killer in Dexter goes about things, he will get caught in a millisecond. There is a bit at the end of season 1 of Dexter where he goes back to the scene of a murder in his own flat and just walks in. And all of it is some fucking police tape. You know what? If someone hits a bollard around here, they might put a bit of police tape around it. They don't care. They'll just fuck off and leave it, right? An active police scene, an active murder scene where the murderer is still on the loose. There will be somebody outside that apartment making sure the murderer doesn't come back and try and fuck with the evidence. Like, just many, many things. But I think they do it on purpose so that if anyone tries to copy it, they'll get caught straight away. It's a bit like in Breaking Bad, they never gave the recipe for crystal meth. They just made stuff up. They just went, oh yeah, and they just made up like scientific sounding terms. Yeah, this sounds about right. So if anyone tried to watch that and go, haha, I now have the recipe for making crystal meth, it would never have worked. Anyway, so-called ninja swords banned by the UK government have nothing to do with ninjas at all. Daisy Blase, I agree, Graham. My grandma scared me to death. She had she had that 1,000-yard stare that still turns me to jelly, even now she's been dead after 20 years. Oh, the killer granny, Terminator granny. Be like Super Gran. Let's do a film and it's a cross between Super Gran and Terminator, and it's just this little old lady who's actually a robot from the future sent to kill and kill again. It's like Mrs. Marple. It's like Jessica Fletcher. Terminator, she wrote. I just want to point out that Graham's writing about ninjas in a stream about RefUK. I love tangents as Californian man. I'm sorry. I'll bring it back. I don't like talking about RefUK. I want to talk about ninjas and Terminators. This is why you're here, right? Right? Let's all have the chat. You see, this is what happens when I start reading the messages. I get distracted. Should we go over to the papers? Try and get back on target. Stay on target. Okay, come on. Let's do it. We start with the Times. Get ready for Pop Girl Summer. Oh, God, go away, advert. Yeah! And they've got Chappell Rowan there and Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter is tiny. And Taylor Swift is quite tall. Taylor Swift is 5'10". And Sabrina Carpenter's, I don't think she's even 5 foot. She's really tiny. She's like this dinky little pop princess. It's quite funny to see them on stage together. But get ready for Girl Pop Summer. Charlie XCX, also privately educated, is headlining Glastonbury along with Olivia Rodrigo. And also, who else is playing? Gracie Abrams is also playing, also privately educated, the daughter of filmmaker J.J. Abrams, who directed the Star Wars films, the new ones, and the Star Trek films, the new ones, and Super 8. And he was the creator of Lost. And Phillips, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Speaking of messing with evidence, news today about failed police investigations. Yes. We'll get into that if we can see some stuff about it. But thank you very much to Anne for that super chat. Inside the court of the very posh Camerons, it's Samantha and the fucking dickhead, what's his name? David Cameron, both privately educated, of course. Sidelined Reform chairman quits after clash over burqa ban. Talked about that. Migration could force reform of rights treaty, no taboo in rewriting the European Convention on Human Rights, as Council of Europe chief. The European Convention on Human Rights must adapt in the face of growing political backlash against migration, with a no taboo on writing its rules, the head of the Council of Europe has said. Probably not very helpful there from the Murdoch-owned Times. Musk's Epstein jibe signals war with Trump, which we were talking about on the special show last night, if you want to watch that, but we will be talking about that more this evening. And then we have the Chelsea pensioners giving the traditional 3 cheers for the current king and his namesake on the anniversary. Oh, well, this is Founders' Day, which marks the Royal Hospital's establishment by Charles II in 1682 as a refuge for soldiers broken by age or war. Talking of soldiers and war, it is the 81st anniversary today of D-Day, which was covered in the Express. Our last D-Day heroes remember fallen friends 81 years on. This is Don Tubble here, who is 99 years old at graves of the fallen comrades. Never forget their sacrifice. The Cameronians. They're working for David Cameron. I don't know. Right, so CMAT on the front cover of the Guardian there saying, I don't care if I'm putting my foot in it. The ones we love. REM's best albums ranked. Ooh, come on, everyone. Let's do it. What's your... Oh, hang on. Welcome. You are awesome. That just automatically came up. James Wig, thank you very much for the £9.99 super chat there. That's very kind of you. Farage has lost his token lackey. Yeah, we're probably not supposed to say that, but you're absolutely right. Come on, right, everyone, name your favourite REM album and maybe tell me why. I'm going to write mine down here so you know that I'm not going to change it. I'm going to write it on my pad here. And if you want to tell me your favourite REM album, and we will discuss it. New Adventures in Hi-Fi says Shropshire Chris. What was that? 1996 was it that came out? That was the one after Monster, wasn't it? Automatic for the People says Colin. I'm feeling it. Right. Okay. Let me know. Let me know in the chat, and if you let me know why as well. Maybe your favourite REM song. God, they're such a great band. Gutted when they split up. I hope they reform. I'd love to see them live again. Labour bans bonuses for 10 water bosses amid worsening pollution. Government uses new powers to target executives at 6 firms. Thames Water is one of them. And there's also Anglian Water, Southern Water, United Utilities, Wessex Water, and Yorkshire Water. They're both having their bonuses banned. They've banned the bonuses. Trump and Musk swap insults as rift grows. And there's a picture of Donald Trump with Germany's leader, Friedrich Merz, at the White House yesterday. And then we've got Reform Chair quits. We've already discussed that. And then Monster. Ooh, L likes Monster. Ooh. So, New Adventures in Hi-Fi. That had that. Didn't he do a collaboration on that? What was the name of the song? Patti Smith. Patti Smith did a song with them for New Adventures on Hi-Fi. That was fantastic, that song. Monster. That was What's the Frequency Kenneth album, wasn't it? I love that one. That was really good. Dead Letter Office. Oh, one of the early ones. That is very good. But wasn't that a B-side album? Was that a B-side and rarities? Am I just making that up? Am I deluded? I'm sure Dead Letter Office. I've got it. I'm sure that was a B-side one. Automatic, says Kate Smith. Daily Blase, Automatic for the People. Billy Kershaw said Graham wrote 4 words there. I did. Well done for noticing. Martin Harrow, Automatic for the People, got bored of them as that was played. After that was played too much. I only like Cradle of Filth's cover of REM song "Losing My Religion." Says One Eyed Pagan. Well, we got there. I love the lyric "What's the Frequency, Kenneth?" Yeah, which is on Monster, and Sarah Davis says Monster. Don't go back to Rockville. Really? I've not heard that one. Is that a real REM album? Shit. I'm sorry. It's Everyone Hurts with subtitles. Album. No, that's not an album. That's on Automatic for the People. And then maybe I've heard that song too many times, but yeah. Green is rather good. Yeah, that's got Orange Crush on it. Absolutely love that. Their breakthrough album. Has that got Near Wild Heaven on it? Or was that Out of Time? I fucking love that song. And Half a World Away. Great songs. Goosebumps. Ebo the Letter. Yeah, that was the one with Patti on. That was the one with Patti Smith on. I think it was Ebo the Letter. That was on New Adventures in Hi-Fi. I only know one REM song, Man in the Moon. Man on the Moon. Yeah, there were two songs about Andy Kaufman, because they did Man on the Moon, which appears on Automatic for the People, and then they did the soundtrack album for Man on the Moon, the movie about Andy Kaufman, with Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman, and they did another song for that called The Great Beyond, which is a fucking fantastic song. It is very, very, very good. It's one of those songs that you'll be reasonably pleased if they played it at your funeral. I think. I don't know. I won Automatic for the People with a bar of Twix. I only know I've read that one. I used to think What the Frequency Kenneth was about Ken Clark. Yes, it actually was. Funnily enough, it was a B-sides album. Yes, it was. Dead Letter Office. Great name for a B-side album, though, isn't it? Dead Letter Office, referring to the postal service, where there's an office, I suppose, where they put the letters that haven't gone anywhere, that haven't been delivered. Everybody Hurts, says Sarah Davis. Yep, that's on Automatic for the People. I prefer Birthday Party, Losing My Religion. Have you heard Bloom Baby Bloom by Wolf Alice? Have I heard it, Pete? I've listened to it on repeat since it came out. I fucking love that song, and I am so excited because Wolf Alice are playing on Sunday at Glastonbury, and I'm going to Glastonbury, and I'm going to get to see Wolf Alice live again. I've only seen them live once, so I'm going to get to see them again. I'm going to get to hear their new album, which I'm really fucking excited about. Big fan of Wolf Alice here. Hello. That's absolutely cracking jack. That and Germ by Kate Nash, who I'm also seeing at Glastonbury, are my songs of the summer so far. I mean, others might come along, but they are absolute fucking bangers. Power to the People says, I saw REM live in 2003. So did I. They were brilliant. Did you see them at Old Trafford Cricket Ground by any chance? Let me know. If you did, I was there. Best album, Automatic. Best song, At My Most Beautiful. Oh, that is a great song. That is a great song. Shiny Happy People. Not my favorite, Liebchen. L says, best B-side album, best title, Attack of the Killer. Oh my word! Alex Morgan's just dropped in a hyper chat. Oh my, sorry for going so high pitch there. Thank you so much, Alex. Love your content, Graham. If you had creative freedom and access to the funds needed, what project would you love to do? Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Alex. I'd like to set up the Impressive Foundation. So if I had the funds to do this, I would start with 6 content creators and I would pay them £500 a week. No questions asked. No demands over what they put in their content. The only demand would be that they keep making content. They keep doing what they do, but would make sure that they're getting 500 quid a week. Any money on top of that, they get to keep for themselves off TikTok or YouTube or whatever. And then I'd like to expand that model as they do well, and we create this as a crowd-funded model, but you've got to get it started first, which is quite expensive to get these kind of things set up to a point where we have people registered, they get access, a bit like Nebula in the US, which also you can get into here, but I don't want it to just be for content creators. I want it to start with content creators, but then I want it to be artists, musicians, singers from working and lower middle class backgrounds who might not be able to afford, actors, wannabe actors, being able to fund them for a year, for 2 years, to get them off the ground so they can live in London and go to auditions each week, every day for a year. And they can go to those auditions and they don't have to worry about also working in a restaurant, also working in a cafe to make ends meet. I want to give universal basic income to creatives and start with just 6 people, grow it to 10, grow it to 15, 20, and eventually have a few hundred people that are part of the Impressive Foundation. And essentially we just give them money to just stay alive for as long as it takes for them to get to break through to the point where they don't need it anymore. Because that is the critical stage, and that is the part of this whole equation that is missing at the moment for the rest of us. For people who went to private school, for people who have a rich Uncle Monty, who are privileged in that respect, they don't have to worry about it. If you are Benedict Cumberbatch and you went to Harrow School, you're fine, mate. You can go to as many auditions as you like. in your 20s, live in London, you don't care, you've got money, your parents are giving you money, you're fine, you know? But we don't have that opportunity. And because of that lack of opportunity, it means that only 8% of people working in TV and film in this country come from a working class background. And that's got to change, because it means that we're not getting the best stories. We're not getting the best people. We're not getting the stories that we want to tell. We're getting endless rewrites of the same fucking story over and over again about some posh people, either now or living in the past, falling in love with the wrong person or something, or having difficulty getting married to the person they want to get married to. La-di-da. We're not hearing the stories that people from normal walks of life, I'll say normal. I mean, there's no such thing as normal. Yes, whatever. But it does upset me that so many artists, so many musicians, so many actors, so many directors, so many screenwriters, so many people working in these professions went to private school, and the rest of us don't even get a look in. So if I had creative freedom and access to the funds needed, I would do that. That would be my first priority. And then I would, once that's off the ground and I've got that up and running, I'll start making movies. I have 16 scripts, 16 scripts that are either fully written or in stages of being written for feature films that I want to make. And they range from sci-fi to horror films to comedies to black comedies to all genres. I've got stories I want to tell. So I'll start making them. I'll set up a British movie studio, and we'll start making these movies and start making horror movies, because that brings in lots of money for much spend. And then you make comedies on top of that, because they don't cost much money. They have special effects in and stuff. And then you make, not better films, but, more expensive films with special effects. Let's make some British sci-fi films, some British science fiction. Come on. Let's do it. Let's do it together. It'll be fun. And I want to bring people in, not just for the films that I want to make, but I want to bring people in to tell the legends of Ireland, to tell the legends of India, to tell the legends of the Ashanti people. Do you know what I mean? Like, bring people in from all over the world who want to tell their myths, tell their stories. There's so many stories to tell, and we keep getting told the same story over and over and over again in just different skins. And I'm kind of sick of that story. I want something different. I want to know. I want a story about the Maori gods. I want that. I don't see why I can't have that. I think it's a bit unfair that we don't, But what do we get? We get the same superhero, wizards, fantasy, whatever stuff all the time. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I want more stories. I want a pure I can't say this word, but it's plurality of voices. That's what I'd like. Anyway, so that's what I'd do. And also I'd get a new kitchen for me mum. She could really do with a new kitchen. I'd get a new kitchen for me mum. That'd be top on my priority. Graham, I want to do some content, but I have no idea how to start. Just start. Gareth, just start. Just start. That's the best advice I can give for anything. If I hadn't just started the Odyssey Expedition on a wing and a prayer, I would not have ever done it. I did not wait for permission from Lonely Planet to go ahead with it. They said that they were interested, but I didn't have a contract in my hands or anything. I just started. I said, look, I am starting on January the 1st, 2009. You can come along for the ride. Just get started. That is the best advice I can give to anyone who's looking to write a book or write a screenplay or start a channel on here. Just get started. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And you'll suss out all the things that you need to know along the way. And you know what? It won't be perfect. You'll look back in years to come at your early stuff and go, that wasn't that good. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just gaining the skills that you need as you do them and sussing out like the best way and what works for you. And one thing I'd always say is don't go against the grain. Do not go against it. There's something that you find really, really difficult to do. Don't do it. Don't do it. Find a different way of doing that same thing. In that case, a way that works for you, your personality, your neuro spiciness. In my case, find a thing that works for you, and then keep plugging away at it. And look, I'm not going to lie to you, it's fucking difficult. It is. I mean, I don't know if difficult's the right word. It's hard work. It's hard work. But if you're motivated enough and you enjoy it, like I enjoy doing this. If this was a drag for me, if I was like waking up every morning going, oh God, I've got to go and talk about politics and how to make popcorn and Terminators and ninjas to people who might want to know about that. I wouldn't get out of bed, to be honest with you. I enjoy doing this, and I'm prepared to work for probably less than I'd get being paid by somebody else to present to do this, because I enjoy it. I enjoy working on my own schedule, and I really enjoy the group of friends that we've made over the last few years, fellow politics wonks on the internet. We're a nice gang, you know. Might have some fallings out now and again, but you know, generally speaking, we're a nice gang. If you need help with that, Graham, I would love to. Don't have much, but I'm good at some stuff. So, says Pete. Oh, thanks, mate. I mean, a hero's journey works because it's what people want. A lot of people have tried breaking the mold, but it never works. Yeah, but there's lots of different heroes in lots of different... Because one of the things that I really, really loved about Shogun, the new version of Shogun, and 100 Years of Solitude, the adaptation that's on Netflix at the moment, is that they were really, really immersive. Really immersive. Like, it really felt like watching that. I learned so much about medieval Japan and its customs and what people wore, and the geography of medieval Japan, what their boats look like, what their weapons look like, what life was like in medieval Japan, and in 100 Years of Solitude, what life was like in 19th century Colombia, at the turn of the 20th century. I mean, that it is so immersive, and it's so beautifully shot, and I love that. I love being taken to places that I haven't been before. Obviously, you know that because I travel a lot, and that's one of the reasons I travel so much. Is because I love waking up somewhere new, and I love it when a story takes me somewhere that I've not been before. And the other thing I love in a film, I'll watch a movie with Catherine, and then I'll say afterwards, I love that. What was it that I loved about it? And she'll say, you had no idea where it was going. And I went, yeah, absolutely. I love movies that make narrative sense. They have to, but don't drop a million hints as to, where things are going in the future. They don't focus on an axe in Act 1, which is then going to be used in Act 3. Of course it is Chekhov's axe. My axe! Yeah, it is just, I want more stories. I want more stories. I want more stories that I'm not expecting where they're going, and I want stories that immerse me in another world, in another culture, in another way of life. I find that endlessly fascinating, and I want to promote that as best I can. It's difficult. The streaming models aren't working out quite the way that Disney had hoped, and other big movie studios. I don't know. I also love the cinema. I love going to the cinema. I love being in a big room full of strangers watching a movie together. I enjoy that. And one of the reasons is, like, it's the reaction in the audience, right? The gasps, the laughter. It's a big thing. So if you're watching a movie at home and you're watching it with one other person, there's a joke, and the person watching it with you isn't really watching it, or doesn't get the joke, or doesn't like the joke, or whatever, and doesn't laugh, and you're laughing on your own, you feel like a bit of a tit, because you're like, am I the only one laughing? But if you're in a room full of people and other people are laughing at the funny joke, then you're like, oh, good, yes, that was a joke. I'm not I'm not being weird. This is all perfectly normal. Paul Ewan, thank you very much for the £2 popcorn money. That is really kind of you. Cheers. Thank you so much. I realise I've got a bit over time here, but I think you deserve it, considering the super chats that I've had come in this morning. You awesome people. But have you been to Dartmoor, Graham? We have our own standing stone circles down here, 6 of them. I've never been to Dartmoor, never been to Devon, never been to Cornwall. I get a nosebleed if I go that far south. We are planning a road trip down to Cornwall at some point, but I get as far as Somerset for Glastonbury, and that's about as far south as I go. Unfortunately, sorry. Get into trouble with one angry pagan here. But yeah, I will try and get down there at some point. I can't watch Shogun because I can't see the subtitles. What? Why can't you see the subtitles? I don't understand. Anne says, or didn't we have a lovely time at the office Christmas party, reminiscence of good times at the department formerly known as the trade and industry. Chris Town says you could DJ by taking songs off YouTube and playing them through Bluetooth. The problem is if when you play music on YouTube, it puts adverts on it. What an evening! Went to bed early with a painful sprained neck. Couldn't stay in bed as the news came over the radio. Looking forward to this Alien versus Predator reboot. Are you talking about Trump and Musk? Whoever wins, we lose. Yeah, never has a tagline been so apt. I was going to try and find out because I missed the thing. We were talking about REM, weren't we? And I was asking if that 2003. No, it was at Glastonbury. It says "Power to the People." Oh, cool! I would have been there. Power to the People. I would have been there at Glastonbury seeing REM. I saw them in 1999 at Glastonbury, and it was fucking epic. And I was at Glastonbury in 1993, so I would have definitely seen them because I rather like them. When they played in 1999, I was on the front row wearing a novelty hat that had Jedi Master written on it, and I had a lightsaber with me. And I was at the front of the crowd, and because it was the summer that Phantom Menace came out and The Matrix. Keanu Reeves played with Dogstar. Anyway, so he was singing "It's the End of the World as We Know It." That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes and airplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid, and he came down, and he's singing "It's the End of the World as We Know It," and he said, "And how do you?" And he said, "And I feel," and he gave me the microphone. So I got to shout, "Fine!" to the entirety of Glastonbury. Unfortunately, I've watched the video back and you can't quite see me, which is a bit... I can kind of just make myself out because I see the lightsaber. But it's not like a nice juicy close-up with me and Mike Stipe, Mikey, my mate Mike, Mickey D, Mickey S, sorry. Unfortunately, there's no like lovely shot of us, face to face, and with him with the microphone holding it to me, asking me how I feel about the end of the world, as we know it. Someone just mentioned actually, just to go on to sort of something a little bit more serious. They've cancelled Pride in Liverpool out of lack of funds because it was being sponsored by Barclays, and because Barclays are being trans exclusive, the people setting it up, the people who run it, have said, look, we've lost our major sponsor and we can't go ahead with it, which I think is really, really shit. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be around in Liverpool on the 26th of July, which is when it normally is. I'm sure people are going to turn up. I'm sure people are just going to turn up in town dressed in absolutely fabulous gear. I was at Pride in 2015, I think, and there were a couple of guys there, drag queens, and they were dressed as the two cathedrals of Liverpool, the Anglican Cathedral and the Catholic Cathedral. They were dressed as these. Their costumes were fabulous. It was like RuPaul Drag Race. It was so good, so good. George Graham, please drop in on ASV next time. Thank you. But also to go back to what I was saying about Pride, this just shows the damage that the likes of Elon Musk, or particularly J.K. Rowling, are doing to the entirety of the LGBT community. The plus community. They're not just going after trans people. They're fucking things up for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, for people. She had to go at asexual people the other day. I mean, the woman's a nutter, but they're trying to put gay people back in their box. They're trying to put the queer community back in their box. And I don't mind what they do as long as you don't wave it in my face. And I'm like, well, if you want it waved in your face, mate, you're standing in the wrong pub. But yeah, it just shows how toxic transphobia is, and shame on anyone who is part of the LGBT community who is anti-trans. Like anti-trans lesbians, the vast majority of lesbians are pro-trans and very much for trans rights. But there are a small vocal minority of lesbians who are like, don't like trans people, There's a small minority of gay men who are really, really misogynistic. And it's sad. Of course, in any given group, you're going to have dickheads. In any given group, you're going to have people who don't share your own political opinions. There are gay people who are Tories, for instance. But that one for me really is quite upsetting, that there are people who are willing to say, I'm a lesbian, I don't support trans rights. I think that sounds to me like, you're shooting yourself in the foot, really, in that respect, because if we take away trans rights, who do you think they're going to come after next? Who do you think they're going to assault in the toilets because they don't look feminine enough? Do you know any butch lesbians? Do you think they look feminine enough to pass? No. That's the issue. So wake up, wake the fuck up. I don't think there's anyone watching this who needs that message, but we've also had the really fucking disturbing news that the new head of the Equalities and Human Rights Commission is another TERF. To replace Lord Faulkner, Lady Faulkner, they're getting another TERF in, another gender crit, which sucks. Anyway, back to REM for a moment. Automatic of the People, my favourite album. Absolutely every song on that album is a banger. There's not enough movies named after songs in that film. On that album, we've got Drive, obviously. The song Drive isn't featured in the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan, privately educated, of course. However, the Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey, that was obviously named after the REM song. And the REM did the soundtrack for it, so that worked out well. But I think we need to have Find the River. That's a great name for a film. I think we should definitely do that one. Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight. Yep, I'm up for that. Sounds good to me. And fuck me kitten. Let's have a film called that. Hey! Oh my god, we're another massive super chat in! Woo! Orvi, thank you very much for the mega chat. 50 quid. Bloody hell, done all right this morning, haven't I? Jesus, I must be doing something right. Let's talk about REM more. Orvi, thank you so much for the £50. That is amazing. Just dropping in to throw Graham some money. Oh, thank you. I feel like I should be on a poll. Stuff the money into my garter. This is amazing. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it, Orvi. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you for everyone for your amazing support. It is just phenomenal. Right, we're just going to try and get through the papers. I'm still a bit more glowed up. Thank you. No, seriously. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. You're all bloody awesome. Thank you. I love our gang. Can I just say before we get into these Muppets, just say thank you, all of you watching this. This is a really lovely channel. And we get hardly any trolls on here. And we have a laugh and we have a bit of banter and we tell jokes and we talk about what's happening in the news. And it's lovely. It's like just meeting up every morning for a coffee with my mates, in a cafe somewhere, just putting the world to rights and going, oh, have you heard what's happened? Oh, yeah. And just having a conversation about it in a nice, friendly, respectful, but funny way. It's really important to me to get the comedy side of this across, because so much of this is objectively fucking hilarious. So much of it is absolutely fucking tragic at the same time. But the way we defeat them, the way we win, and we will win, I've no doubt about it. I'm not a catastrophist. I don't think the world's coming to an end. The modifications will have to be made, but if we keep our spirits up, that's all we need to do. Honestly, believe me, like, they hate it. They hate that we're happy. They hate that we're telling jokes. They hate that we're having a good time. They want us to have a bad time. Or they want to make us cry. They want to make us upset. And yeah, now and again, it does get a bit much, and it gets a bit too much for me. I've got to go and have a walk, or maybe I have a cry. But at the end of the day, the best revenge is a life well lived. And that's, if there's one bit of wisdom that I never came up with, someone else did, but that I'd like to impart to people, just enjoy your life, have fun, because that fucks them off more than anything else, because they don't want you to have fun. They don't want you to go out there and do stuff. They want you to stay at home, stay afraid, have this twisted view of the world that everyone's out to get you and that everything's all ending, so what's the point in anything anyway? And you just got to try and not let those voices win, and don't let those voices overwhelm you. And yeah, you might call it gallows humor, but keep your sense of humor about all this, because life's a laugh and death's a joke. It's true. You'll see it's all a show. Keep them laughing as you go. So there you go. Anyway, right. now that I've finished my little loving, let's check in on the hating. Musk Trump feud erupts as tycoon says president is an Epstein files in the news to absolutely nobody. It's very disturbing that 77 million Americans don't give a fuck that the person that they voted for is a paedophile. Like, they just don't care. I don't even think they would care if it was their child that they abused, that he abused. Just don't think he would. Okay, so Adam Millington here, the Euro 2025 gamble. Okay, whatever. That's about the foot kickball, women's kickball. Reeves hits back. My spending plans are right choices. Writing in the Independent, the Chancellor reveals sense of injustice on free school meals driven by her own lessons in prefab classrooms, and insists her spending review will help Britain's least well off. There you go. Free school meals for 500,000 more of the poorest pupils, which is great. But they've got to do a bit better in general. There's a horrific story on the front cover of the Daily Mail here. My stepfather abused me and then forced me to marry him when I turned 18. Absolutely horrific story, and not uncommon. And in fact, Elon Musk's dad did this exact thing. Woody Allen did this exact thing. Stepfather to a child, and once the child was grown up, they had a relationship with the child. They married the child, had a couple of kids with the child now that they're grown up. Absolutely sick. I mean, that's grooming. That is 100% grooming. And the people who do this should go to jail for the rest of their fucking lives. GC, thank you very much for the €10. The more summary into the session is superb. So live and real compared to some BBC burble and clickbait for racists I've just stumbled on. Oh, thank you. So thanks very much to GC there for the €10. We always like getting euros here. Dog 4x4. The one thing I've taken from my gran, or as she's always said, if you didn't laugh, you'll cry. Personally, I'd rather hear someone laugh than see them cry. Yeah. Well, we read that in the papers yesterday, that a smile is more effective at making yourself look attractive than Botox. I could have told you that. And it doesn't matter. When you smile, you especially getting my age, I got wrinkles around my eyes. I got like a line that comes down here when I laugh. I don't care. I'm having a good time. I'm having a great time. I'd rather have laughter lines than have this dead face, expressionless top lip that doesn't move. Like Mr. Beast trying to smile. Sorry. Once you realise that Mr. Beast smiles in a really weird way, you can't unsee it. I can't even do it. He's like, it's like this. Honestly, it just smiles in a really weird way. Okay, so Russia feeling butthurt. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, we've got to come to that now. Russia blames UK for drone attack on jets and says it could lead to World War III. Russia last night blamed Britain for Ukraine's devastating drone attacks on its airfields. And it claimed that this country's alleged role in the strike that destroyed as many as 40 Russian aircraft could lead to World War III. All right, mate. All right. If you say so. World War III, you say? Sensation, as Musk says, Trump is in Epstein files. Sensation? Is that the right word to use? Armageddon drunk. Blast orders. Anyone fancy a bottle of Nuki Brown? Oh God, they're going full on with the puns this morning in the Star. Most of us say we're off down the pub, but there's a nuclear war. Sorry, that I was covering that with me. Great, that's worth putting on the front there. And Crouchy's got a new job. She's driving a little tractor. The baffling fuck off Daily Telegraph is just a newspaper. that I think they drill into my brain while I'm asleep, and they take out a little bit of my brain, and they go, what would Graham hate us to say? What would really wind Graham, or what would make Graham think that this is the shittest piece of rag newspaper that has ever existed, and that could actually nowadays include the Sun? The baffling rise of Ana de Armas. What's baffling about it? She's a great actress, and she's absolutely fucking gorgeous. Is it because she's Cuban? Is that it? Is that the problem? Is that why it's baffling? Because she's not a white English rose? Is that baffling for you? Is it? Don't know. Whatever. Whatevs. I think she's Cuban. She was Cuban in that Bond movie. I watched that Bond movie. She's in it with Daniel Craig, or Craig David, as I like to call him. She's in this movie, No Time to Die, and they meet up in Havana in Cuba, and they're both like assassins. They're both like spy assassins, and she's like a sexy Latino assassin, and he's a sexy British assassin from Chester. And they're killing people, and then they stop and they have a drink, like that song in The Greatest Showman. Stop and have a drink, and then they just shoot more people, and they're doing this little dance around each other. And after the movie, I went, do you know what I want? To my girlfriend, I said, do you know what I want? And she said, a pizza. I said, no, I don't want a pizza right now. I want a movie with Ana de Armas in, where she's basically James Bond, and she just goes around killing people, and she's dead cool, and she's like James Bond, but it's a female James Bond. It's like a Latin female James Bond. That's what I want. And they've made it! Ballerina from the world of John Wick. They've made the movie that I want them to make. But for some reason, the Telegraph hate it and say it's the baffling rise of Ana de Armas. Fuck off, Telegraph. Fuck off. Anyway, reform civil war over burqa ban. Oh my God, look at that picture of fucking Farage. Oh God, make it go away. Make it go. Oh, that's better. Jesus Christ. He is so fucking ugly. I mean, he looks like he's fallen out the ugly tree and hit every fucking branch on the way down, and then been beaten on the ground with sticks from the ugly tree. Jesus. Chairman Zia Yusuf resigns in fresh blow to Farage about MP's remarks about Muslim clothing. So there you go. I'm going to just get rid of this here. And then I'm just going to scroll down in a moment. If I could press the right bloody button. Press the right button, Graham. Oh, shit. Press the wrong thing. Frog Farage. There you go. Sorry, I need to get rid of it. Needs to get rid of my froggy Farage. Trump is in Epstein files. We know that. Walking wounded told to stay away from A&E and NHS shake-up. The walking wounded should go to an NHS thing, I guess, rather than any. Okay, so that, yeah, if you're walking wounded, you should go to your local what's it called, GP centre. Anyway, so there's biggest shake-up since forever. Again, I keep on these biggest shake-up since forever. Portugal opens e-gates for UK holidaymakers. And then we've got teenage girl spared jail over dog walker killing. The family of an 80-year-old dog walker, that's a very old dog, have attacked the sentences handed to his teenage killers after a 13-year-old girl walked free from court. That's fucking insane. Bim Coley was fatally attacked by a 15-year-old boy while the girl filmed the killing on her phone, and she was spared jail. What the fuck? That's disgrace. That, you know, I hate to come all over the fucking Daily Telegraph. Ugh! Oh God, that's disgusting. But yeah, that is pretty fucking wrong. PM agrees to 3.5% defence spending. And then we've got number 10 intervening on zonal energy price. So Keir Starmer has intervened in controversial net zero proposals to make homes and businesses in the south pay more for power than those in the north. Yeah, I'm up for that. I'm so up for that. RefUK chairman quits after Berkabau. All on the Berka bus. Robin Williams on cocaine. Okay, cool. And then we've got British Food Really Is Brilliant. Don't Listen to Americans by Gizzy Erskine. Gizzy Erskine. I've got to do this. Gizzy Erskine. Is that like a foreign name, or is that like is that the Honourable. She is she's the daughter of the second Baron Erskine of Reddick. And she appeared on This Morning, and she went to Leith's School of Food and Wine. What? Prue Leith has got a school of food and wine? That can't be real. She's the second of three daughters. Considering that she is the daughter of a baron, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say she's probably one to add to the private school mafia. But she's getting to talk about how British food is brilliant. La 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 la. I'm rich. UK water bosses burners finally banned amid public anger at sewage scandal, screams the headline of the especially if I scream it. Boy 15 and girl 13 sentenced for killing. We've never felt hurt like this. Family of dog walker Bim tell of pain, yet teenage attacker gets just 7 years. And friend is spared detention over wicked act. 7 years for murder. 7 years for murder that your mate filmed on their fucking phone. That's wrong. Oh, come on any level, that is wrong. The sentencing guidelines on something like that desperately need updating. The mad thing is, if we legalise drugs, half of the fucking prison population could be set free because they're in there for non-violent drugs offences. So let's get all them out of jail and let's free it up for the actual fucking killers. And when people do stuff like that, you know, you killed an 80-year-old, well, there you go, you get an 80-year sentence. Bye. Fucking bastards. Let's go into the Financial Times here, the sensible paper. Probably the only sensible paper left. How far can Reeves go in raising taxes, it asks at the top here. And the adverts. The debt glut giving markets indigestion. Reform blow, Yusuf exits Farage's party. Yeah. We've got Trump and Xi. Dial down rhetoric and agree new round of trade talks. US president says meetings will be soon. State interventions extended. And investors remain cautious. Failed startup Builder.ai owes cash to intelligence firm and litigation lawyers. I don't care. Your investment may go up and down. It's not my problem. Not my problem. It's real, says Diz to me. What's real? Water bosses will probably get a huge pay rise now. Well, I hope not. Yeah, Prue Leith has a cutting school for years. I knew it in the 90s. Prue Leith is a massive Tory and she's a Brexiter as well. If you film that, who are you ever going to show it to and what would be the occasion? It was for clicks. It was for clicks. It's like that movie, fucking Fall. Oh my God. They climb to the top of the tower. This fucking TV mast for clicks and likes. That's a new shit and giggles. Clicks and likes. But yeah. Graham getting roasted on his Spanish grammar, says one angry pagan. What? What's wrong with my Spanish grammar? What did they say? Is it not Ana de Armas? Have I pronounced that wrong? Is it Anya? Is it Anya? It doesn't have a little cedilla over the N, so I didn't say Anya. I'd say Anna. Anna? Is it Anna or Anna? Oh God, I don't fucking know anymore. I don't care. What purpose is prison though? 7 years for a mistake made at 15 is fair, but a mistake, he killed someone. Come on. That's not like a parking fine. He killed someone. That should be it. No, it's not these dickheads who rob a car and then drive and fucking crash and a load of policemen are fucking injured and police officers are injured and 6-car pile up and they get like a 3-year suspension on driving, not allowed to drive for 3 years. Fuck that shit. You're never allowed to drive again. That's it. Sorry, mate. You had your chance. You were driving uninsured. You haven't done your test. You smashed up 6 police cars. No, 3 years. Fuck off. You're never allowed to drive again. That is it. There's one thing you're not allowed to do is get behind the wheel of a fucking car. You're irresponsible. Tough shit. Take public transport for the rest of your fucking life. Oh, no, people need a car to live. No, they don't. This idea that a car is a necessity. It's not in this world we're living in at the moment. You can work over fucking YouTube. You can work over Zoom. You can go take public transport into work. Fuck off saying, the only way to have a job is to have a car. It's not true. Most people in London don't have a fucking car. They don't need it. They got to get around on their underground shit. Your use of Latino rather than Latina. Oh, sorry, you're right. Yes, Latina. Well, I could say Latinx. That covers all of them, I guess. But you're right, it's Latina because it's feminine. What's RefUK done now, says Alexander French. Oh, what haven't they done? They've done us. Done us up the wrong one. No mistake, bastard fucking Brexiteer scum. So yes, I'm going to head off now, I think. I'm pretty excited. Beyonce dazzles on first night of London residency after slow ticket sales, it says on the BBC front page. Ooh, slow ticket sales. Ooh, that means that there might be some tickets available to go and see Beyonce live. That'd be quite cool. I had a conversation with my stepdaughter, who's she's a big Swiftie. She loves her some Tay-Tay. And I was saying, in a couple of years' time, you want to come to Glastonbury? Try and get you to Glastonbury. You want to come? And she said, oh, but Taylor Swift will never play Glastonbury. And I was like, that's where you're wrong. Because she was supposed to play in 2020. She was the headliner in 2020. However, COVID came along. So she didn't end up headlining in 2020. But that would have been boss. That would have been awesome. Right. So, Sarah says, bye, Graham. Bye, everyone. Bye. Blue Badger says, if a car was a true necessity, it would be affordable without a budget. Yes, absolutely, it would be. People act like a car is a right. No. Being able to live and work anywhere in Europe should be a right. That was taken away from us. Having a car is not a right. If you fuck up that badly that you destroy 6 police cars in a high-speed chase in a car when you haven't even passed your test and you haven't got a license and you haven't got any insurance. No, that's it. You've gone too far. I don't care. I really don't give a shit. That's it. You're banned for life. That's it. You fucked up. And yep, the rest of your life you might look back and go, shit, if I hadn't done that terrible thing, I might have been able to drive a car, but tough shit. Tough titty. But what does prison achieve? They don't do rehabilitation. They don't treat psychosis, and they certainly won't deal with peer group. Christopher, yes. We can have this conversation. I mean, it would be an interesting conversation to have with, is it Jeff T, who works in prisons? Or worked at Gareth, not Jeff. I'm getting my Gareth mixed up. I'm getting my Jeff T mixed up with my Gareth T. But yeah, Gareth T worked in jails. We can have that conversation about prison, and I do think that prisons need reform. But when it comes to a capital offence, like this kind of thing, like murder, and for someone filming it on their phone. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is where my latent conservatism comes out, and I'm like, no, fuck that kid. Like, get him in jail forever. Okay, not as punishment as punishment for him, but keep him away from society. He's obviously a danger to society. I don't think he should ever be allowed out. It should be a whole life sentence. That's it. End of. Don't care if he's a kid. When you're 15, you still know the difference between good and bad. When I was 11, I still knew that it was wrong to take a child to a railway line and a toddler and kill them. I knew that at that age when that happened, and the kids who were about the same age as me who carried out the horrific attack on Jamie Bulger in Liverpool, they knew it as well. They knew it was wrong to do that. Do you know how you know that they knew it was wrong? Because hardly anyone does that. That was the first time and last time in how many years that a couple of teenagers, not even teenagers, a couple of kids had gone out and killed another kid in that way. It was sensational because it just doesn't happen. Because even at that age, in that tender age, that kind of thing is really fucked up. And I had no problem with them getting the substantial jail terms even at that tender age. So yeah, I do get a little bit on a little bit right of the spectrum on this one, because I feel like there is rehabilitation for petty criminals, for people who have committed some certain crimes, and I do feel like there should be more emphasis on rehabilitation. I think that the idea that you get out early on parole after half your sentence, I do think that should be contingent on not just good behaviour, but actually bettering yourself with qualifications. That needs to be taken into consideration. So if you want to get out of jail early, it's a really good idea to resit your GCSEs or your A-levels in jail and get those qualifications, so that you don't come out of jail with no qualifications and a criminal record. You come out with some qualifications and a criminal record. And also learning skills in jail as well, I think, is an important factor of being in there. And I am all for rehabilitation. But then you've got murder, you've got capital offences, and I think that the main use of jail in that respect is just getting these people out of society, because they're a fucking danger. They're an absolute fucking danger. And we can't take the chance that motherfucker will get out in 7 years' time and go and kill somebody else. It's not worth the risk to me. Sorry, it's just not. If you're that much of a psychopath that you're willing to do something like that, there's nothing down for you. Captain Coconut Graham can be very authoritarian at times. Best keep away from power. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm never going to go and become an MP. I find it funny that you don't seem to need to pay for the costs if you break the law. I find it funny you don't need to pay for the costs if you break the law. Yeah, absolutely. That is a bit weird, isn't it? I agree. The level of cold-bloodedness shouldn't be walking around putting others at risk. Yeah. It's not about rehabilitation with these people who commit these kind of criminal acts. It's about protecting the public, I think, more than anything else. They've destroyed someone else's life. They've taken someone else's life, and I think, okay, well, you have to forfeit your life then. Spend the rest of your days in a prison cell. Obviously, I don't agree with capital punishment, but the idea of a punishment that is deserved for the scale of the crime, I think that's fair enough. 7 years, and the other one didn't even get into trouble at all. Well, she did get into trouble, but she didn't go to jail. I mean, imagine that. Imagine filming a murder on your phone and laughing about it and not going to jail. Okay, so I'll be back at 1 o'clock. Obviously, we've done a bit of a bumper show today, but we always end up doing a bumper show because I like talking about stuff. I'll be back at 1 o'clock with Phil Morehouse, where we'll be talking about the domestic politics of the week. So please join us for that. Is this a glimmer of hope for Labour in this by-election, this Scottish parliamentarian by-election? Scottish Parliament by-election for the Scottish Parliament. So we'll be talking about that, whether Labour can actually claw themselves out of the hole that they have very truly dug themselves into. And we'll be talking about that at 1 o'clock, so please join us for that, the agenda from 1 till 2. And then, obviously, we'll be back, and please join us for this tonight, because it will be absolutely freaking hilarious. We're going to be talking about all the shit that's going down between Elon Musk and Trump, and hopefully more shit will start going down today, because it's really enjoyable. Get your popcorn out, grab yourself a drink, a nice cup of tea, or a bottle of rum, whatever your poison is, and join us at 9:30 tonight for the Friday Night Social, where we will put the world to rights. If you fancy streaming tonight, if you fancy watching the live streams, you got Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments at 7:30 till 8:30. Then you got Maximilian Robespierre from 8:30 to 9:30, and then from 9:30 till late. We don't really have an end point. It's just when I'm tired and want to go to bed. Get onto the politics Friday Night Social. So I will hopefully see you there. And in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Give us a like on the way out. We always like a like. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the super chats. I can't express my gratitude adequately. Absolutely phenomenal. Plum Duff, 50 quid, and Ori, 50 quid, and 100 pounds sent in by Alex Morgan. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. You keep this channel alive, and it keeps me going. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'll see you at 1, hopefully. If not, 9:30, maybe tonight. Come and join me. And until then, I'll say thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.